Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady. Welcome back. This is our first recorded session in the new year. So happy new year, everyone. And how are you doing, JC?
Yes, I am doing really good, Wendy. It's great to see you and hear from you. Before we started today, we talked a little bit about, the holidays and whatnot and the new year. It feels real good to settle in here for 2025. I spent the good majority of our time off these past few weeks, Wendy, trying to explain to people that I am a real human. I am not an AI voice. I spent a lot of time doing that. It's really annoying. It's hard, man. It's so hard for me out there.
You know what, though? You do have, you have this voice which is why you've been, in media and radio and podcasts for so long. You have the voice and it's amazing. But yes, folks, he is real. I have actually met him. But speaking of, we want to be talking today about AI and learning specifically, and voice cloning technology. So with us today, we have the president of PEAT and AI-powered tools for workforce learning, Luis Garcia. Welcome.
Thank you, Wendy and JC. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, man, I'm one of your clients, so I know what you
Yes,
do.
you are.
Most people probably don't. And I know many people are afraid of AI, especially voice cloning. And I think they should be to one point. I want them to know, hey, be aware, make sure you understand that if you're listening to something on a radio or, a Facebook ad that pops up, find out first if that's real. And even if the voice isn't real, find out the information behind the voice is real. That's what I really want to know about, is the information. So with that said, tell our listeners about you, about yourself, and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, thank you, Wendy. So, as you said, I'm the president of PEAT, and we're a platform to help companies create learning experiences for workforce learning. And what that means is that we use any information that they have in order to create courses and for them to train and their workforce. We deeply believe that training is a superpower. And
I agree.
when you do it well, when you do it well, when you do it effectively, but it is not easy to do. It is actually complicated and it's expensive. And most companies don't have the resources to go ahead and hire all the people that a training department requires. And so we built a platform that automated a lot of the process for creating courses and for evaluating learning. And we matched that up with a lot of human touch. And we believe today companies, software companies specifically, go out of their way to not speak to people. And so we work really close with our customers, helping them create their courses to make sure that they're getting the most out of the platform.
Yeah, like I said to our listeners, I myself am a client of PEAT, and your team babysits me well.
Yes.
They definitely do a lot of hand-holding for somebody who is not a technology expert. But, when we met, I've said I want to roll out a learning management system, which I tried to do on my own in previous years. And it's a lot. Not only is the learning management system, the software itself is expensive and complicated. You have to have 3 software degrees to figure out how to use it. But then just putting the course together and making sure it looks pretty and making sure it looks great. And then on top of that, somebody might be an expert at an XYZ topic, but that doesn't mean they're an expert presenter. And I think that's where your tools come in with the AI. So we'll get to that in a moment. I mean, I know you've been around the world literally and working in technology, digital media, and education for well over 25 years, right?
Yes, that's correct. So I started my career as an engineer in the 90s, and then stumbled in education and helped launch one of the fastest growing online universities in the US, that from 0 to thousands of online learners. And that gave me firsthand knowledge of the complexity of digital education, which democratize the distribution, but it came with its own bag of tricks, as I usually say, because when you eliminate the real-time instruction, where you break out of time and space, and yes, you get to be in front of more people, but you don't get the benefit of the person being there answering questions. And I usually said, if you're in the classroom sitting and the person in front of you is an expert and a good communicator, you feel educated. But if you take that person out, then the learning materials, the stuff that we see behind the person speaking to you, and those are doing the teaching. And those materials have to be effective and have to be well produced in order for them to be able to educate. And that makes it really hard to create for audiences that don't have the benefit to ask someone. And so it's a very difficult problem to solve. And we believe we solved it with our tools.
Luis, I have a real quick question for you. You were at Full Sail University for just a couple of years, right?
19 years.
19 years. Well, I have an interesting statistic here that was led to me for today's discussion. In less than 5 years, the online student population went from just 13 to over 12,000 students, generating over 1,000 jobs and launching more than 25 academic programs, bringing in annual revenue exceeding $180 million. Could have been $1 trillion, though, right? In 2024 money. Only kidding. But take a look at this. Corporate spending on AI in education and learning is projected to reach $20 billion annually by 2025, driven by its ability to personalize training, improve employee retention, and reduce costs compared to traditional methods. That's from IDC. Back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, wow. First of all, Full Sail, if anybody doesn't know what Full Sail is, there's one in Winter Park and then San Diego, I think.
Well, just the Winter Park campus,
just the Winter Park location now. Okay. So yeah, Full Sail is amazing. And the fact that, it went from 13 online students to 12,000 in 5 years. And, I've seen it personally since the pandemic alone, but even pre-pandemic, that people were leaning towards online training because it was easier. You didn't have to get on a plane. You didn't have to drive there. You didn't have to find parking. You can be more productive with the online training. Hasn't always been great pre-pandemic. But I have been doing online training, probably for 10 years now, and I am busier than I have ever been doing live online training. And then, of course, my now pre-recorded learning management system that Pete has also helped me with. It's just huge. If people are not thinking about doing online training with or without AI, they're kind of missing the boat, right?
Absolutely. I mean, and if you think about it, even in the last 25 years with the advent of digital revolution, we all got into the mode of learning digitally almost without thinking, right? We do a lot more reading, and then with the introduction of video platforms like YouTube and things like that, we're all the time learning. It's just, it hasn't really, for a while, didn't really dawn on people that they were doing learning while they were investigating, researching, trying to find out more about things. And if you package that as a training experience, then you can get a lot more out of it.
I want to talk about voice cloning technology, which is amazing and also scary at the same time. So can you talk about the technology behind Pete, the voice cloning technology, and how it helps content creators streamline their process and move along so they actually get the training to the people who need it, ASAP?
Yeah, so we know in learning that when you're multimodal, you have a better chance of the learner capturing the information better because they can engage with several senses. So a lot of digital education is text-based. You just read and move along. But if you accompany that reading with a voice or additional senses, then there's a better chance of uniting, of getting a better engagement and therefore a better learning experience. So the challenge with adding a voice to lessons is that then you have to write a script. Then you have to get the person, the expert behind a microphone and say those lines. And obviously not everyone is as experienced as JC. So they'll probably take several takes to do it. And that takes a lot of time. And Another reason to use the voice as an expert is that it actually brings more credibility to the material when people hear from somebody that they know. So with AI technologies, we can clone the voice of the expert to both better engage the learner, but also give more credibility to the materials. So in our platform, as we automated the process of creating learning experiences, we added voice in to make sure that the learning experience was better in using cloning technologies. Now, is automated in the sense that once the voice is cloned, we can always roll it out, but it always have to be approved by a human. We believe that really the AI tools are the most powerful when they are used to assist a human instead of automated, completely closing the loop. And so we adopted voice technologies very, very early. It was interesting. Some of our initial customers that were already trying to do courses with their voice said, we'll license our technology only because of the voice part, because it will save them, hours and hours and hundreds of hours into not having to record. Because once you do the recording, you can't change it. So once you finish the lessons, if you feel that some of the words are off or something like that, you gotta go re-record.
Yeah,
and it takes a lot of time. Where in our platform, if you want to change a word or if you want to change a sentence, you just write it again, and then the voice gets magically and automatically created. And so yes, and we do use it, but it's fully approved by the person that provides us the voice. And after it's generated, what we call the course administrator has to review it and approve it before it goes in front of a learner.
Imagine taking a 90-minute course and it really only winds up taking you 60 minutes because there's no ums or ahs. Fascinating. Look, the global voice cloning market is projected to reach $3.8 billion by 2027. That's growing at a compound annual growth rate of 24.2% from 2022. And that's driven by its applications in customer service, entertainment, personalized marketing, and education. Back to you.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Again, since I am also a user and I was terrified of getting my voice cloned, I have to tell you, it has helped me so much. Not all of my online courses are, through voice cloning, but I would say probably half of them are. And you could just hear it right now because it's cold here where I'm living. And so my throat is going out. My voice is shot, and I'm an online speaker. I speak pretty much all day, every day, doing training, live training, and then on the conference route as well. So my voice is always shot. And I love that I was able to use Pete to clone my voice, but then write a script. So it's still my information. You're getting the same information. It's still time consuming, folks. If you ever hear anybody, call you and say, oh yeah, we can have you have a course overnight, they're lying to you, because that means they're using somebody else's information or some other AI that has not been verified and validated. So make sure ethically you get with people like Luis and his team at Pete to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you're serving your customers the way it is. Biggest thing I do want to say though is don't be so afraid of AI. I want you to be a little bit afraid, because just like anything on the internet, we can't believe anything on the internet. We shouldn't believe just anything on AI, but we can really use AI, ChatGPT, all this other type things to just help us get things off of our list and maybe save our sanity, right, Luis?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Real quick, Wendy, to your point, don't believe everything on the internet. You could definitely find this podcast at thehrlady.com. Back to you.
And JC is not a bot. JC is a real person. I can attest to it because I'm watching him right now.
Hey, Luis, talk to us a little bit about just like data privacy, though. How does Pete make sure that there's control and confidentiality over the content? And what I mean from the content creator side, how do you make sure that when I put my course into your program, or I just use your program to generate a course and I store it somewhere else, how do I know that nobody else is getting my voice and my information?
Wendy, I don't get asked this question enough.
Really?
Kudos to you for asking these questions. It's very, very, very important. And that I'm going to make a differentiation between using our tools or some proprietary tools and using public tools, right? So when you use a tool like ChatGPT, which is incredibly powerful, or like Perplexity or Claude, or and every day we're going to see more of these language models popping up. The way that they train the model is by using all the information that they can get their hands on. And that includes yours. When you are having a conversation with ChatGPT, it is training the large language model, and whatever you're giving it is actually becoming public information right on that second. And because our tool is meant for companies, from the onset, we knew that we could not do that, because companies are going to be very protective, obviously, of their proprietary information. So the way we build our platform is that it fence every customer individually and does not use the data that you're providing as a creator to train a third-party large language model. And it's not even used to be trained other customers either. And it's proprietary to you, so your voice cannot be used somewhere else. But more importantly, your information cannot be used anywhere else. But we took this a step further, and we say, hey, when you sign a contract with us, you're responsible for the input you're bringing into your course. You have to own, what you get. But the output that we have in our courses, in our learning experiences, that also belongs to you. It doesn't belong to us. Not only we don't put it out there to become public information, it does not, but we also don't own it either. And so if our relationship ends, we export all the information and it's go back to you. We don't own it. We only provide the platform. You own all your content.
Love it.
Luis, I have a deeper question for you in regards to threat mitigation. How does your platform address the potential risks posed by quantum computing to traditional encryption methods? Have you gone the path of PQC, post-quantum cryptography?
Well, I am not an expert in quantum computing, and I will say that what I know about quantum computer, there's only a few computers out there that actually exist that can do quantum processing, and so I don't believe it's a threat to anyone just yet. And but in terms of encryptions, we are hosted in a very well-known platform for our cloud. We make sure that it's fully encrypted and inside the database and also in transmission to cover all of it. So we're also in the process to certify our platform in what is called SOC 2, and that certifies that you're taking all the possible decisions that you can make to protect the data as much as possible.
A significant statistic highlighting the importance of data privacy in business is that 94% of organizations believe that their customers would not buy from them if they did not properly protect customer data. But here we've learned that's not the case. Back to you.
Yeah, right. We certainly have, and we've learned it the hard way. Unfortunately, I think we see news about it every day of like data breach, and it's like at this point, I just like, I'm sure you already have my information, so whatever, But it's definitely interesting. I personally love what you're doing, Luis. Pete is amazing. The fact that you can help save my voice and other people's voice, but more importantly, joking aside, is get information into the everyday person's hand to help educate society and not have to break the bank. And I think most of us want to help educate our peers and everything. We just don't know how. We don't have the tools to do it. So things like AI learning and voice cloning may be an option for you, our listeners here, where some of this technology stuff probably went right over your head like it did for me as well. With that said, Luis Garcia, how can our listeners connect with you?
Well, we have the best domain we can ask for is pete.com. That is PETE.com. And if you, we appreciate it if you go to pete.com/podcast, so we know that you came from here. You can read all the information there about our platform, about what we do. And if you like it, please sign up and we call you right back, and then perhaps you can be a customer. And our ideal customer, Wendy, is a company in the hundreds of employees that have the need of training because of velocity of hiring or because of velocity of product or of turnover, but do not have the means to create a training department. And so our platform can really get them there in terms of creating training experiences and programs, and without the need to have a training department.
Love it. And if anybody that's listening is interested in listening to actual voice cloning, I'd be more than happy to direct you to a file of two of my information where it is my information, my words, my script, but it is a voice clone. So I will be more than happy to do that for you. Just send me an email at wendy@thehrlady.com. As the HR lady, I'm always looking for feedback on the program. So please feel free to reach out. Let me know if there's any topics that you're interested in 2025, or if you'd like to be on the show. We hope this information has been helpful. Thanks for joining us and take care.